name is Ron Anderson, and with Daybreak, I'm a donor and a follower of everything that Daybreak is doing.
And I'm Robb Sloan Anderson. I'm on the board of Daybreak, newly elected to that position. And again, I follow everything Daybreak. I always say great things and try to get more donors. And I'm also a donor.
We've heard about Daybreak for a long time. It's David's place that we had not heard about. But we didn't really get to know a lot about Daybreak until one day our telephone rang, and I don't even remember who called, but they said, we're doing an event.
It was Roger Glass.
Was it Roger Glass?
It was Roger Glass, yes, it was.
And so we're all going to meet at the Neon Movies and watch a movie. Then we're going to go over to Salar, and we're going to there's an event, and we're going to raise money for David's place. So whoever made the presentation that day was probably the first time we ever heard anything in depth about David's place and Daybreak.
And with me, we've been involved, like you said, several years, and it's near to my heart because I was homeless. My parents threw me out for daycare.
Oh.
So it hits extra hard for me. So, and especially with David's place and seeing the kids, it pulls your heartstrings, but we know that they're in a much better place, a much better living experience, and their life is just completely turned around for the good, for the better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Absolutely, from day one. And most people in Dayton don't even know my story.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't. I'm just starting to share it more than I used to. I used to not talk about it, but now it's easier. It's just easier with time. And then both my parents are now gone, so it's easier to talk about it. Yeah.
Dana, our friend from the Opera Guild, from Dayton Opera, would always invite us. And then at one point we were asked to chair a table. So I had to when Dana sent us the email and said, we would like you to sit at our table again. And we had to say, well, I'm sorry, no, we're doing our own table this year. So, but she didn't have any trouble filling up her table at all. So
and the other thing with going lunches too, you see your friends. We know so many people that come, and it's nice to see them. Sometimes that's the only time you see them the whole year, because they all come to the breakfast or come to the luncheon. And it's a very nice event, and it's great to hear. They always have when the kids speak, and it's great to hear their story and how they've got their life back to. For me, I like people to invite, because a lot of people don't know about Daybreak or David's Place, and it gets the word out, that it does exist, or if they know somebody who might need help, or they come and they get involved and they become donors, and it just makes the world a much better place. It really does. And they hear the stories, and they get up close and personal with their stories. So it could maybe happen to them too, because a lot of people have a history and people don't know.
Even without knowing a lot about what goes on in here, it seems that we know that somebody's doing a good job, because when we drive around town, we see so many homeless out on the street, but we never see homeless kids.
No.
You.
And we've actually seen a couple on the street, and we sent them here.
Oh yeah,
We have. Yeah. But not very often.
That you just don't see them, and so somebody's doing something right in town, because we know they're out there, and we know you have many clients. So it speaks, not seeing that on the street speaks volumes about what you do. I think in the gay community, especially, it's a group of people that need to hear the message, because we can so closely identify with that population. And that's like our extended family, so to speak.
It is. And so a lot of people, that is their family.
When we all met at Salar, when we all met at Salar, it was like homecoming. All of our friends were there. Yeah. And so the gay community really came together for David's Place that evening. And I think they raised almost most of what they needed, that evening. And so in order to get the word out to donors, I think that's a real important group, to speak to. But then all of our allies as well.
And I think people within the gay community and like Ron said, our allies are, for the most part, very accepting. They understand the challenges. They understand what you guys do. I think pretty much everybody knows about Daybreak. David's place, not so much, but they will get to know. And telling people, the story of David, we talked to David's mother, for example, and just hearing about him, it's like, him, you met him, you haven't, but just talking to her, it's like, him through her. And it's just an amazing place, and you do amazing work, and we're just proud to be part of that.
And we hear often about our friends who are raising money for Daybreak. Speaking of David, we were at another David's house.
Oh yeah.
Just a few days ago.
For Daybreak.
For a party. It was a fundraiser.
For you guys.
It was the David Strocher. I don't think we can say his name. I'm not lying at all. But he mentioned that his employer will match. His gift matched what we donated that night, and then his employer matched that. So it's a. Thinking the word, but it's like a snowball effect.
Right.
The more people hear about it, the more they want to do things for Daybreak. We would love to have a party at our house for Daybreak.
Absolutely. We would do an heartbeat. Absolutely.
So when people are asked, they say yes. And it's unfortunate at this time in history, with what's going on in so many other states, in terms of legislation and laws and attitudes, even in schools, even locally, lawsuits over uses of restrooms and things. As adults, we can kind of deal with that and understand it, but for children to be hearing that, no wonder they don't want to come out. I mean, if I were small, if I were 10 or 12 years old and I'm hearing this argument, I would just say, okay, terrified, and you wouldn't, say anything to anyone. So I'm afraid that
it's coming back.
Yeah, it's going to have a real negative effect.
Well, I wanted to join the board because I wanted to get involved. I'm somebody that's been part of, in a weird way, of Dayton's place, being, kicked out by my parents. I wanted to make a difference. I wanted to join the board, toss out some ideas, fundraising and those kind of things. I do a lot of fundraising for different events, and just help this. If I could change one life, if I can make a difference, just one kid's life, that